issues of trade, they don't look like, I think they look like to most people it's easy. Trade has everything to do with the power of continents, power of countries, power of governments. But one of the things that Africa has known for years is to move goods as raw materials into the north, right? Which is the more developed countries. And these more developed countries, they've come with their infrastructure to facilitate the flow of goods from Africa to Europe. But Africa has not developed the infrastructure to move goods from one African country to the next. And the other thing that we need to talk about is the informality in Africa. Trade has regulations and rules, and our economies have become mostly informal. So informal trade and informal movement of goods have to be organized, have to be regularized, have to be guided by policy and legislation. So how far can we do that? Because if we look at all the countries in Africa, I think it's just a few who are able to move and trade with each other. Why? Because we are still informal. So how do we become formal is the other question. Yes. I think the other thing I want to talk about is for instance, Zimbabwe ready to trade with other countries? And what are we talking about here? In Zimbabwe, we produce certain things that are not produced, for instance, in Ghana, right? Ghana may be using tomatoes from the cans, and yet Zimbabwe is throwing away fresh tomatoes. How do we enable the movement of goods, agricultural products, just from Zimbabwe to Angola, from Zimbabwe to Ghana, from wherever? It's impossible at the present moment because we don't have the infrastructure. But also, do we have the buy-in? Do we believe we can do that? It's another thing. There is a conceptualization and an attitude that when you export to Europe, that's when you get more money. But we know for sure